Today I'm going to show you how to install a clear paint protection bra. We've chosen some self-healing material here. This is a 4-piece kit. It's going to protect this truck on the rocker panels here behind each tire. It'll cover here behind this tire as well as the same area on the back of the truck and same thing on the other side. So 4-piece kit. A lot of times on a pickup truck or a heavy-duty truck, you'll have some oversized tires, flick-up rocks. As you can see here, there's a few chips here and there on scuffs. We've chosen this vehicle because it's used. It's got a few chips, and we'd like to show you what happens if you don't have clear paint protection material on your vehicle, and then the damage would get worse with time. We're going to protect this vehicle from the rocks coming off of this tire. As the vehicle goes down the road and the tire's flicking gravel and rocks and such, it ends up in this area here, and you end up with chips in this area. So that's where we're going to apply it. We've chose a 4-piece rocker panel kit. It's a self-healing clear paint protection film. It comes with a marker, dry erase marker. You can draw on the material with this pen and it wipes off. It'll allow you to mark the material to do a little trimming on these universal kits to fit your specific vehicle. I'm going to go over the tools that you'll need for the job. In this case, you need the kit itself. This is a 1, 1.5, 2-inch squeegee. Anything in that size range will work for squeegeeing the moisture out from behind this film. The pen to mark for trimming. A soft, clean terry cloth towel to clean the surface before applying the material. A pair of household scissors may or may not be used for your installation. We have here a slip solution, a gel. This slip solution is 75 to 80% distilled water, 20 to 25% baby shampoo. This is your slip solution. We'll explain that a little later in the video. This is our gel. Consists of 70 to 80% hand sanitizer diluted with 20 to 30% water. You can use regular water out of your tap at home. I prefer distilled or bottled water. It has a little less particles in it, and the cleaner the install, the better. This is 70 to 80% water, 20 to 30% rubbing alcohol. It can be isopropyl 70 or 90%. It doesn't really matter. And this is your tack solution. Slip, semi-slip, tack. Where you'll use these different solutions, and I'll explain in this video, is some vehicles, when you first put it on the vehicle, you'll want to position the material and slip and move it around. The gel is used a lot of times on dark blue vehicles, black, darker colors to limit the hazing and also allow you to position and slip with a little more tack. The water with just a little bit of alcohol is used for cleaning the surface first, as well as a tack solution when you get around a curve or in an area where when you lay the material down, you really want it to stay tapped down the vehicle. And I'll demonstrate that in the video a little further, but those are your 3 solutions. And you don't need all 3 of these solutions to do an install with our product. You could fill a water bottle 70-80% full of water with a little bit of baby shampoo and use just that solution to do the install. You don't need to have all 3 of these different solutions. They just make it a little easier if you're doing a big install, a lot of pieces, a bumper, a hood. Some of these can make it a little easier at times, but you don't need to have all 3 of these to complete this installation. If you were to just choose one, I would say just have the baby shampoo and water. You can clean the surface before you install it, and you can install the product and spray it with this, as well as spray the material and use it to squeegee. These 2 are just used to make it a little easier. If you want to create a gel solution, I'd get hand sanitizer, fill the bottle up, add a little water, stir it, shake it around, dilute the hand sanitizer a little bit, and give yourself some gel. I'd always start by washing your vehicle at the car wash, pressure washing it. Just get the whole vehicle clean. The surrounding areas, it's nice to have those clean when you're working. If you had a real muddy or dirty vehicle and you were just installing here and you cleaned here, but up here was dirty, sometimes you spray that and it runs down around and gets behind your material. So good idea to wash your vehicle first, and then clean the area that you're putting the material on very thoroughly before applying it. We like to use a clay bar. You can buy those at any auto parts store. And clean the surface with the clay bar. It'll remove wax, grease, and grime and some things like that. We've already done this to this vehicle, so we're going to skip that step. You can see how that's done in some of our other videos. And I'm going to go ahead and start by cleaning the vehicle. You could clean the vehicle if you just had the water and soap. That would be fine. Probably get it pretty clean. I like to use the alcohol and water. The alcohol in it will help remove a little bit of wax or grease, do a little better job cleaning. Go ahead and spray that. This rocker panel kit, I believe this one is 7 or 8 inches tall, and it's going to cover this area. It's about 17 inches long. I'm going to take my cloth and just wipe that and clean it. This kit's tall enough to do this little piece here, so I'm going to actually split that. You'll see in the video in a minute, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a piece there. This particular truck has oversized tires. It has a mud flap guard from the manufacturer that went here. We've removed. They're going to install some fender flares here, which if you've got a pickup truck and you're buying a rocker panel kit for it, or even an SUV that you've got oversized tires on, most likely you're going to remove that and put a fender flare on too. And so you won't need bra right here. If you weren't doing flares, you would probably leave the plastic mud flap guard on and still wouldn't need the bra there, so it would be a rocker panel kit from here back. If you choose to remove the mud flap guard and not do a flare, you could just follow our steps on the rocker panel kit and move it forward and put a piece there. Generally that'll be covered by that mud flap guard or the fender flare itself. I'm going to continue cleaning this. The cleaner the better. Like to make sure you get in the little cracks so that you don't get dirty water running down on the area that you're doing. Even though bra's not going to go in the crack in there, you still clean that out. I like to you see me rotate the towel a lot. Where I'm cleaning, I'm getting dirt, and I don't want to smear that around where I put the bra. So I like to keep trying to rotate to a clean spot on my rag. And I like to clean twice. Clay bar once in the beginning. Clean twice with rubbing alcohol and water. The ideal temperature for installing this material is between 60 and 80 degrees. You can install this material if it's cooler than 60 degrees and warmer than 80, but those are the ideal, that temperature is the ideal temperature for installing it. The reason why is when this material gets really cold or the vehicle surface is really cold, it isn't as easy to work with. And if it gets too hot, it gets real, it'll get real stretchy. The vehicle will be hot and it'll tack real quick and it won't allow you to position it and stretch it and such. So 60 to 80 degrees is ideal. Indoors is always ideal, out of the elements, out of the direct sunlight. If you buy some of these products, clear paint protection film, and you're 98 degrees, you're outside, black vehicle, doing it in direct sunlight, it's going to make it very difficult. I'd recommend if you don't have a garage or a shop, that you do it under covered parking out of the direct sunlight and at a time of day where it's not really hot above 80 degrees or really cold and windy. Wind makes it a little difficult too. So the best environment you can put yourself in temperature-wise and element-wise is going to make your job much easier. So I'm going to take this kit out of the package. This kit is a 4-piece rocker panel kit. It's self-healing 8mm clear paint protection film. That's some of the better stuff out there. It's what we recommend. self-healing is a big deal. We have a video on that. If you scratch the surface, it has a chemical top coat. You can heat that later with a heat gun or a steamer, and the majority of light scratches will go out of the material. The squeegee and the pen. I'm going to open this kit up now. Find a clean spot to lay your kit out, maybe a chair you bring out from the house, or a little workbench or something. You don't want to be laying it out on the ground or getting dirty. You want to keep it clean. Okay, there's 4 of these pieces here. This kit's nice. It's got rounded corners. So the backing is squared off. That's the white material. That's going to be removed and thrown away. And there's the clear material. And if you see there on the corner, this kit's nice. It's got a rounded corner on it here. And it helps reduce peeling. It helps it stick better. The sharp edge is more likely to peel, so this kit has a rounded corner. We like that. All the pieces are rounded on all 4 corners. Now that we've cleaned the vehicle, I'm going to go ahead in this video, and in this particular video, the vehicle's black and it's got a curve. It curves down here. I'm going to go ahead and go for my Tack Solution, which is water and alcohol. I'm going to spray the vehicle here like that. I'm going to remove the backing from the material and discard the backing. Be careful not to let the material stick to itself. It's pressure sensitive adhesive. It's sticky to the touch, and if you stick it together, you'll basically ruin the piece and have a hard time getting it back apart. Spray all of the material. The adhesive side is the side that was on the backing. Come over here, and I'm going to apply this on the truck. I'm going to demonstrate really quick what you would use the slip solution for and what you'd use the gel solution for. Very similar. The slip solution will make it extra slippy. I'm going to go ahead and use the gel. So the rubbing alcohol, I can't move that. But if I stick the material down, it stays stuck down, which is nice for a curve. If I want to position the material, I'll spray the material with the gel, little gel on the vehicle. Now when I put this pattern on here now, it moves, which allows me to line it up with the molding, which allows me to bring it to this edge and position it. Most installers, if you've worked with this material quite a bit, you would use your alcohol and you just line it right up the first time. It would tack and make for a little quicker install. Tack right up and get done a little quicker. If it's your first time or you're not real familiar with the product, probably use the soapy water or the gel. It'll be a little more user-friendly and allow you to position the material. In the end, you're going to get the same result. Slip solution, you spray it on the outside of the material, make sure it's lined up. You cover in here. I always like to work from the center out, and you want to jab at the material like this. That's your squeegee stroke. If you do a big long push, a lot of times some moisture will roll off the top of the squeegee. You'll leave it behind. On this little piece, it's not so critical, but get in the habit of overlapping your squeegee strokes. Now, once I've got a line through the middle, I've basically got the top half of the material that's left and the bottom half. I'm going to peel that back to the line where I squeegeed. I'm going to pull down just a little bit on that material. And I'm going to go through the middle. That stretch is going to help accommodate the curve. Okay. The reason I'm not squeegeeing that all the way down now is because I'm going to trim off the bottom edge of that material, and I'm going to apply it right down there. Most of your trucks are just going to be one big piece. This particular truck, probably about 10% of the trucks out there may have this piece as a separate piece. You may have to trim it and then apply that piece down there, and I will do that in a moment. Okay. Okay. you always want to pull the squeegee, not push it, but it's okay to push it if it's just a small area and you're going up against something. There is a time to do this squeegee pattern, but you generally want to pull the squeegee like this and not push it. If you're up against a rail like this, you know, obviously you hit and it stops shy and you lose moisture, so you got to get all the way to that rail. Sometimes if you try to clean that good, you might get a little grain of sand and then scratch your material. So you see me sometimes I'll wipe that squeegee when I'm going up against that molding. Keep the squeegee clean. Okay? So now we've squeegeed the moisture out from behind there. I like to take a rag at this point and wipe the material. That gives me a good idea of what type of job I did and if I left any moisture behind. Small amounts of moisture will dry out and be okay. If you left a big, quite a big area of moisture behind, it could cause a bubble down the road. I'm going to take the pen that came in this kit, and I'm going to make a mark along the bottom here, and I'm going to follow that mark with my scissors and trim that off. I can see that this is about 1.5 inches to 2 inches tall, so I'm going to make it just a little smaller than that. And I actually don't need a line the whole way to follow. You could mark a whole line if you want. I'm just going to make a mark on this end and a mark on this end about the same height. You could use a tape measure if you wanted to. 1.5 inches is not a whole lot of material. I have a pretty good eye, so I'm going to make a mark on each end and just trim that straight. You could measure it if you'd like and make a full line. So I'm going to start at this line here, and I'm going to cut really slow. You can cut with the scissors like this, or you can just run them along like this is what I do. Then I'm going to go ahead and take a look at where my mark is there on the end, and that's where I'm going to end up. Just go slow, take your time. You just stare at that little mark at the end and end up there. Go ahead and round that corner off just a little bit there. I'm not going to set this piece down. I don't want it to get dirty. I'm going to go ahead and just put it straight on the truck from here. And now I've got a piece perfect for that there. This dove back a little bit right there. This will be protected from the flare, so I went ahead and moved that back and got a little more coverage. If you want the extra coverage, you leave that there. If you wanted it to line up with this one, you could just bring that back, trim that off so that this mapped. I'd like the extra coverage, so I'm going to leave that there. That's clear. I'd rather have the coverage. I'm going to grab my tool now. I'm going to go ahead and finish squeegeeing this now down around the bend there. Go ahead and hold this in place with one hand. When you get a small piece of bra, skinny, smaller, it'll have tendency to move when you're squeegeeing. I'm going to hold it in place with this hand and squeegee it out with this one. Just kind of help hold it in place. And then switch hands and hold in place. Okay, now I'm just going to bump the edge here and finish getting the moisture off of there. Okay, this is turning out great. Pretty straightforward. These rocker panel kits are really pretty easy. Now, the last thing I need to do is, this edge of the material was straight and the vehicle curves back. There's a little excess right here. If you don't feel that confident, maybe you're not the best cutter, you could make a line with the pen right there, lift that off the vehicle and cut with the scissors. Some people will cut on their vehicle with a knife. We try to mark and do all the trimming with scissors off the vehicle. I'm going to go ahead and just put the marker away because I've done quite a bit of these. So I'm going to go ahead and peel that back a little bit past where it goes there. And I'm going to trim. Once you get it cut down just a little ways, what you're going to want to do is grab the piece of material you're cutting off with your hand and pull on it a little and give it a little pressure. It's going to make it a lot easier to finish your cut. And I'm watching the truck there as I'm cutting down. You've got to peel it back just a little bit to make your cut where you don't get into the truck with your scissors. Just going to round that off, finish that off like that. That's my waist. I'm going to come over here. Now that I've peeled that back and it's dry, you can use any of these three solutions. I'm going to go ahead and use the Tack Solution. Get a little moisture back behind that edge that I lifted back off the vehicle. Lay that down. I like to dry that off when I'm done. Take a good look at that. And then what you want to do when you're done is, it's called sealing the edges, so you just want to kind of rub your finger along that top edge, maybe down this edge where that ends. I don't know if you can see, there's a little thing that looks like a fingertip. We've referred to them in our videos before with window tint and paint protection film as a finger, because it looks like the tip of a finger when you get curvature. That's what I'm talking about. You're inspecting your install on the edges. You just take your finger and just push that down. The adhesive has a tack time. When it's wet, it's not that sticky. As it starts to dry, it gets tackier and tackier with time. After 1 to 5 minutes, depending on your temperature and your environment, that's going to get sticky. So when you push it down, it's going to stay down. When you come along this edge here where you trim that, make sure that that edge is laid down nice there. You're going to check this edge and your corners here and just make sure that that's down. We're going to move to the back side of this vehicle. I would recommend after you do your other piece, coming back, check this again. And that's how you install the rocker panel piece on the front of this pickup. We'll now move and do the same thing to the back here.